Don't let you come in here. I don't want y'all to get through the whole pass. Pass. All right, now you're gonna quiet real quick, ain't you?
I turned the energy up and you gotta be quiet. Why is it quiet?
Because you heard the music.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Pay
okay.
attention now.
Okay.
Respectful of you.
That is that.
You're awesome. Thank you. All right, it's gonna be something good. Let's go. Thank you, Joe. Yes,
All
sir.
right, so the last weekend went out with a client, I can see how we legal and everything. She bought the first house we saw, put it under contract, we closed next week.
Thanks.
Woo!
Where did you find the house? And why, what was her motivation?
She wanted to live on the lake and have some access to water. So she doesn't have a dock, but she has an easement all the way down to 30 feet of waterfront. And she just wanted to be up on the lake, and she was a friend I met, through church and other places. So she was just, had been looking for a long time, and when we got together, she said, let's get serious.
Let me give you an aha for yourself. All right. She's gonna sell that house in about 1 to 2 years. She's gonna want a dock. Who just said that? Me. So I want you to, if you didn't get goosebumps and then you're probably not alive yet, just wake up. Absolutely correct. The excitement of being on the lake. Boom, get it done. Once it all absorbs, she's gonna want a dock. And she's ready to move. She's either gonna rip that turkey or she's gonna buy something else. Come back. We'll track this one in 2 years. Somebody else, send me something good. All right, Bob, doing perfect. God, no, I said you. You got the.
Richie and I close tomorrow at 10 o'clock.
Closing tomorrow at 10 o'clock. I thought he had closing today. Did you not see this man today? He's got a bow tie on, a beautiful red. Oh, yeah. See, it's getting headshots today, but I don't know if they're closing. All right, Tyler, tell me something good.
I had the first opportunity to do the closing this morning at 9 a.m. with the combination of Stanley and Ashley Connor.
They don't stink, do they?
No,
Is that why you use them?
yes,
That's why we're in business with them.
Absolutely.
right? And I use that word, right? Okay, we're gonna do something a little different, so I've heard something good, now I want you to give me a couple of cheers for peers. And I mean, you started off.
I just want to say thank you, Bob, for the class last week. It was great.
Yeah, there you go, thanks, Bob, good job, Bob.
Yeah.
Carrie's not in here yet, she'll be in a while. She did a class yesterday, anybody in that class? Oh, sorry, the whole room. Was it good?
That was good.
All right, then she brought a special guest, that was pretty smart, wasn't it? Okay, awesome. Do I now?
It was genius.
Yeah, all right. I have somebody else. I'll get one. Team meeting last week. Y'all remember who ran the team meeting while I was in California?
Nice.
Stand up, let's get question to ask yourself is when you're traveling, right? Vacations are coming up. Who's the who? Not the what, the who is gonna run your business while you're gone. I literally had no fear. I didn't set up anything for her. I said, you got it. She said, I got this. I don't even know what y'all talked about. Yes, ma'am.
I thought she was incredible.
Oh, yeah. Well, she's incredible. So is the talent, right? So we're all searching for talent. I got one. That's why I was like, hey, you gonna run the team? She goes, oh, I got this. All right, anybody else? I mean, anybody else? All right, let's move forward. All right. Steven, you're up here now. I can't even call you out. Steven, I feel like ready to go. All right, tell us who are you?
Stephen Ming with Home Team Inspection Services. I do home inspections, obviously. Take care of your pets, your mobile, your radon, your sewer scoping. We have a couple of other services you may not be aware of. We also offer floor plan diagrams. This is good for your clients who may not live in state, may not have a see a house. But we can do a floor plan diagram which shows all the doors, windows, major appliances, sinks, tubs, showers, stuff like that. And you also have a service called repair estimate report, which goes to a third party. And what they do is they look at my report and they'll figure out how much it costs to fix all those items. That will give you and your client the power for negotiations when it comes time to talk to the substation. Another thing we offer is, I just drew a blank, of course.
You show up, right?
Huh?
You show up,
I
right?
show up. Well, actually, let me tell you what distinguishes me from other home inspectors. Okay. For me, it's all about the white glove service. Okay. I'm gonna call the client before the inspection to get an idea of what they already know about the property, any concerns they may already have. That way I can make sure I can address those in the report and add extra information as needed. After inspection report, after inspection, you'll get the report, not in 24 hours, but closer to 24 minutes. Normally about 30 minutes after I leave the property, you'll get the report. Why? Because time is of the essence. It's important for you to get your report so you can talk with your client and be able to start strategizing where to go next.
Is that within 30 minutes?
30 minutes after I leave the property, you'll get the report. Also, I call the client 24 hours later, evening time, to go over the report if need be, if they have any questions, and answer any questions to add even more depth. To me, it's important for the client to know exactly what's in the report and understanding what they're purchasing. That is paramount to me and very, very important. I've done business with quite a few agents here, and I'm gonna reach out. Any of you guys have any testimonials for me? That'd be great to hear right now.
Yeah, helped me with my house and, we found some issues, and like you said, your report came in very fast. You had the report on how to do the repairs. That night you called me, it was like 9 o'clock, and I thought, I had a question, but I didn't want to bother you, so you called me first, and I thought, great. They were able to go over the little question that I had. The next day. Good job.
I've used Steven for the best, all my closings last year, all my buyers last year, and you'll never get an answering machine, you'll always get somebody you can talk to. Report comes in super fast, any questions you have, he always fills out, always answers every question you have. And he's just been one, I referred him to several other agents in our office as well, and even outside, just He's always there for me whenever I need him.
Yeah, do you think he would, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, and he never tells you, like, when it's at the last minute, which I've done with him a couple times already, that he doesn't think he's gonna get there, because he finds a way, he makes it like really quick. Because I've had some very last minute calls.
Tony, you got something?
Yes, sir. I used them the last 3-4 times. The best one was the last time because they already had an inspection report from a previous guy. And he beat him, he got more points, which the previous guy didn't notice it. So that was good.
The question is to ask yourself, do you think he would stand in front of here? I've used the word stinks this morning, so that's the word I'm gonna stay with. That's my word.
I've been working all day.
If you, yeah, you're not that kind of stinks. No. Do you think he would stand up here if he didn't realize or ask the question for some testimonial? Like he's asking y'all for the business, but who you're in business with matters. And that's why he's gonna do a great job. He loves this office. We are his #1 source. And I sat with him 2 years ago.
Yeah.
To justify why he was paying to be in the office. I'm like, give it time, let people see what you have to offer. And it will grow, because they will tell their friends, guys, this is real estate 101. It's just like doing a deal. You do a great job, they'll tell their friends about you. Cam just told the whole room, and Tony and everybody else about you. And I love your car too. It's pretty cool to see you show up. You know what you're doing. You're not showing up in some, car that's unmarked. I like it. I like what you do, man. I appreciate being in business with you.
One more thing I want to share.
Okay, go ahead.
Last year, I did 118 inspections. Okay, that's not a lot.
Okay, no.
This year, my goal is to do 500. But I need y'all's help to get to that point. I need to grow my business, so I want to continue to grow that right here in Chattanooga.
I've never been told to be quiet. 500, we're gonna go to 1,000, so get ready. Hey, look at his bracelet, he's bold. And I got, look, Nina, I don't know if Nina didn't hear anything, she did a podcast just recently, and it was fantastic. And here's what I loved about it, she used references to bold, and she's a rock star. I'm telling y'all think every time it comes, I think I'm selling y'all and y'all can regurgitate bold. It has changed your mindset.
Actually, I got some about bold too. So
Go
when I
ahead.
took bold back in 21. They asked us to all to do 100 touches per week. In 22, my goal was to do 100 touches per week throughout the whole year. I actually made 5,400 touches throughout the year. And I attribute that to my success.
Amen.
So now that was a lot of
That's right.
phone call, talking and everything.
Are you still alive, right?
I'm still alive.
You're okay.
So this year I changed it up a little bit. I'm still doing phone calls, not as much, but I actually started to incorporate things like video. So I'm doing video now every week, doing a video on Facebook. I'm counting those as touches, and my video viewership has gone up. So I think that's actually helped my business too. So.
Good. Don't change what you're doing. Keep doing it. Keep pressing. Proud of you, man.
Thanks for breaking even me.
Thank you for breaking.
If you would all please scan this QR code. This is my contact information. There's also a price list on there, information about the services we offer. There's tools in there for agents and clients. And it has all my contact info. So thank you guys.
Anyway, thank you for practice. Hey, one, you ready? Hey, wait a minute. You had a closing at 9 o'clock.
Tomorrow.
Oh.
Better be in a day like that.
It's in for better, it's in for.
But I was fire showed up and signed it. That's like 3 o'clock. It worked out.
Well, good to see you early.
Decided to make it on time. I'm actually on with Kelly and Sorehan. Good morning, friends. Kind of continuing on my theme of we're starting to see multiple offers, right? A little bit more competitive. So remember, the exhibit, property sold with right to request repairs. What do we think of this exhibit?
We don't do that. We don't do
That, exactly. Good. So what I want is if you see this come across, I would counter with just a shorter due diligence. So why is this exhibit not ideal? Because people say, oh, from the seller's perspective, this is great because the buyer can ask for less things. And although that's true, the big issue with this form is that there's language in there saying when the buyer sends over the amendment asking the seller to correct the defects, they have to provide a copy of the inspection report, not just listed out the couple things they want fixed, the entire report. So what does that mean for your seller? They now have actual knowledge of 100% of what's in that inspection report. So if this contract terminates, then they have to update their seller's property disclosure. And honestly, they're technically supposed to do that even if the contract doesn't terminate. But even for future contracts, right, if this one terminates, now they have to disclose everything that's on that inspection report. So you don't really want that report if you are the seller and you represent the seller to have that knowledge. And just saying, well, I never opened the email is not a legitimate thing to say. You received it, you're assumed to have read it, okay? So this is not ideal for sellers. Obviously, it's not ideal for buyers because buyers with a due diligence period can terminate for any reason. So that's certainly better for them. But again, not good for your sellers either. There's also a lot of confusion on what a defect actually is. And the form does about as good a job as it can in trying to define that. But the reality is people get very confused on that. And so your buyer will send over an amendment asking certain things to be corrected. And the seller almost every time is going to say, that's not a defect, you're in breach. And then all of a sudden you're arguing over whether that specific thing is a defect. So again, I don't recommend using this form. Do a short due diligence period when you can. Y'all have questions on this? All right. Well, I appreciate y'all very much. And don't forget to put O'Kelly and Sorahan on page 1 of your contracts.
Counselor Mortgage. What do y'all have for us? Give me some good rates. Give me some good news. Do you have something for me?
Stable driving themselves. We have 9 closings today. I believe 24 hours, yeah.
Yeah. Are they all in this office?
Not all of them,
Okay, that's okay.
but there are things that happen, yeah. There are some things that don't close 9 in a month, and so we're closing 9 in a
Yeah,
month.
we're at, we got 50 million, 55 million, and 25 million. So whatever they do, they're just trying to catch. They're not trying, they aren't looking to catch up and they're just not.
Crazy.
So you'll have about 8 billion in the pipeline to close this month. 7.7 on the board.
Yeah, gotcha.
So you put your goals out there. So Stephen, how can Stephen hit 500? His goals, he said it to you guys out loud. Where is that? Like, where do we see Stephen's goals? Where are your goals? Who's sharing your goals with? Who are you sharing them with? Right? We know that. If y'all think that their success is happening, just what happened is a strategy and a plan behind that and systems that we have in place, or they have in place. And then I just, kick them every once in a while. So, hey, that's awesome though. That's awesome. It's a little more often than once every once in a while. Give us some better rates and we'll even have more. Let's try it.
This past week, rates fell from, national average of 6.875 down to 6.75. You may be wondering why I'm smiling right now. The last time that we had news that came out from CPI and jobs reports that was extremely positive, we saw rates pull up to 7.25, 7.375. Last week, where there was really no major news, rates started pulling back. This is a good indicator that investors are projecting that rates are probably going to pull down. Now, there's 2 big points of news that are going to come out March 10th. We're going to have the February jobs report. They're expecting for those to have pulled back. That's potentially going to push rates down. And then March 14th, the CPI report is going to come out, which they're also expecting for inflation numbers to move in the right direction, which could really push rates down. So as Ashley is saying, we're seeing a ton of, multiple offer situations as these rates start pulling back down. We're going to see even more activity. Applications are up, and that's going to drive that number even higher.
Yeah, and when the seasonality, we're coming into April, right? I mean, I know we're coming into March, I get that. The seasonality is happening.
Yes, yes. One other thing, you may want to touch on this, Hunter, but a lot of clients are shopping right now which is never a bad thing. What I've noticed, I had one client, they shopped with 5 different lenders and sent over estimates, and I'm going through them. Some of them aren't showing any sort of property tax or insurance setup, which is not the truth. If they're escrowing, they're lowballing or waiving attorney costs on there. So it's very difficult for these clients to know when looking at these different estimates with, you know, hidden origination charges, that type of stuff. Just be careful with that if your client's doing a lot of shopping.
Well, I think Stanley said it best though, like cost of management asset value. The main point I took from 9 closings is they're all clear to close, right? That doesn't happen in the normal world all the time. It doesn't. I know.
Just touching on what he said, I got a quote yesterday that we were competing against, and they had a 1% origination fee, and we're also charging like 4 discount points. So that's 2.5 points, basically, that they're charging the client. They build in the origination fee to make it look like it's a just original, or excuse me, just a standard charge. We do not charge a 1% origination fee. So if you have a client who's asking about closing costs, maybe they think their closing costs are too high, they're buying a $500,000 house, we will save them $5,000 because we don't have that charge. So just something to think about if you do have clients that are talking to other lenders, they may be complaining about closing costs, because when you do build in that origination charge, it does dramatically change things. Another thing is, as Matt was saying, contingencies are being waived. We're getting some multiple offer situations. I had an appraisal ordered on Friday afternoon at 5:30. It came in yesterday morning, so it took us 1 business day, not even to get the appraisal back. Not that that's gonna be standard on everything, but it is. And we have, what I'm saying, we got good turn times to work with us. You know, if you need to raise some contingencies, we'll get them underwritten before you put in an offer, and shorten some of those contingency timeframes to win those offers.
Question, was that like a rush appraisal?
It was not actually, but.
Thinking you need to back.
I'm not promising that every time, I guess we did request it back for Monday, but if you guys have to work, you can see.
What do you do, Ron?
You good?
I'm good, yeah.
I have noticed the same things, shopping, verbally, clients might give me a rate, and 9.9 times when I get it in writing, it's the wrong one. So someone said they had 6.125 the other day, and I said, there's no way, absolutely no way. So I got the sheet, it's 6.375, which is still low, right? We're in the high 6s, but they had 1.3 in points. It just matters. I think the customer is so focused, hyper focused on the rate, and these lenders know that. They know that. And they just hide these other costs in there. The same woman had almost 6,000 in points. I told him this is not a good plan. But I moved the rate up a quarter. It was $65 difference in their payment, and it saved them almost $3,000 up front. Rates are going to drop. They're not going to break even with these high points. They're going to lose. Not a smart deal for them. Okay, couple things. Did you have to be through? I've noticed, I've had 2 appraisals, 2 deals come to me because they had low appraisals. One is not back, one did come back.
This is the property. That's the picture of the house.
Yeah, let's go to her. Very cute. Shows really well, Milton, 2 acres. Looks really updated. Sell price was 580. Oh, that's 580. Wow. Yeah, they switched it to me, us. Give that up, sorry. I was 500 over. It was a no-name lender. When you have listing and you have these offers coming in, you need to look at more than just the terms. Who's the lender? Because that, how much variation you can have. I have another one that's a townhome here, it's 30,000 low, so I'll know in a couple days how that comes in. Last one, mortgage insurance premium monthly has been decreased. It's dropped. I can't remember
The last time this happened.
17, 2017.
Okay, yeah, seems like it's been 0.85 monthly. However, it is now 0.55 with 3.5% down. On a $400,000 loan, that's $100 a month for your borrower. It's about 10,000 in buying power. So I think they're trying to offset the improvements for conventional. Remember we talked about that lower score, where the rates are a lot better. I think that's what's going on.
This is just for FHA now?
FHA only. So their payments are going to be lower for buying power.
We have some great classes in March. One coming this week, on Thursday is underwriting basics. Our underwriting team, the head of that is coming in to speak and do a whole presentation. Why do you need to know this? What? I
love that.
Why?
They're not the best.
Oh, yeah.
Really good. The reason why you need to come, because not that we're gonna teach you to be an underwriter, is because you need to help your buyers get to the closing table, right? And so better understanding what an underwriter is looking for in a loan is gonna only help you help your buyers. But that's at 12 o'clock on Thursday. We are providing lunch. I'd love to know if you're coming. This Thursday, the 2nd as well. We have coffee talk twice this month, new agent breakfast as usual. The February, March, birthday lunch is on the 10th at 12. We have happy hour at Scotch on the 16th. Please let us know if you're coming to that. That's always fun. And then a new thing that we have, Hunter's doing fanatical prospecting on March 13th at 10 a.m. These are all on the calendar, but that's gonna be an amazing class. It's a book that we just did. And lastly, on the 29th, for all the women in the audience, we have something new starting. It's called Women Building Wealth. And we are going to do a small series of classes once a month, the last Wednesday at 12, to help you learn how to buy investment property. So Stanley and I will be bringing people in to talk to us about how we go about doing that. The first person we have coming in is an amazing friend of Stanley and I's who Mike needs to try to recruit again when she comes in. But she has investment property all over the city, including storage facilities, and she has an amazing story. So anyway.
Is that just for women?
Just for women, sorry.
But we're
The 29th.
Yeah, the 29th. So let's wait it. What time is that? 12 o'clock, lunch.
Well, yeah. And Mulder over there, you can be a guest. What do you mean? Come to the class. What do you teach? I thought playing over there, Mulder.
The fact about this whole thing that Stanley shared is that when you have listings and you have somebody that brings you an offer, one of the first things that I do, sometimes even before I call to present the offer to my client, is I call and either ask the agent that presented the offer, is this lender, this lender, somebody that you do business with on a regular basis? Or I even sometimes call that lender direct to say, hey, where is this client in the process? Is this just a desktop? Have they provided you any documentation yet? And you always have the option to respond to offers and say, hey, you've got to get pre-qualified with my lender. And they don't have to use them, but it helps prevent issues down the road.
That's right.
Like appraisals.
I like that. So did that.
You're welcome. Pay me later.
Yeah. That's good stuff. All right, 210. 210 Kelly, I don't see Kelly. I do see Andrew with Oak Insurance, so we're gonna go straight, y'all are on the same page together. Let's go. Let's go force and race.
Andrew Daniels, Oak Insurance. I've been writing a lot of policies for investors lately that are doing these quick flips. And they'll send me policies that they've gotten quoted from other carriers like, American Family. And a lot of carriers have like 6-month earned premiums, meaning you're going to pay 6 months worth of premiums, no matter how long you hold the policy for. So if you're flipping a house and it only takes, 3 months or 4 months, you're still going to have to pay for the full 6 months. So if you get an investment property or an investor, let me know so that we can write you a policy that is for the amount of time that you're actually going to be holding it.
I'm just gonna say that I used to be, all of you know me that I'm an investor, and he helped me with the last 10 transaction houses and this week. and the prices are very better. And it's going to be good.
Like that, thank you.
Liliana, I want to thank her and Nelson. They did an investor class this past weekend. I came in on Saturday. And to all who showed up on Saturday and to the leadership staff here, it was a blast. And thank y'all for showing up. Thank you for jumping to 201. We've had over 1,000 contacts added to the database. And those over 100+ people here, they were doing a seminar on investing. And I don't know how many people you had stuff in there, about 25, 30 people. So that was my cheers and peers for y'all. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for giving a shout out to Andrew. Awesome. All right, Ruthie, where you at? I can't remember seeing people. There you are. I see you. This empty seat, I got like 50 people standing back there looking in. I got an empty seat right here. No one wants to sit next to Joe.
Yeah. So now we're talking about disclosure, so I'm gonna tell you, you don't need a disclosure. It's not required to say to do it. So if your seller says, I'm not gonna do a disclosure, he doesn't have to do one. But he does have to disclose latent defects, and that is something that couldn't be discovered by an inspection. So he knows something that was a problem, like he had mold or whatever, and he knows it. He doesn't have to disclose that. It can be discovered by somebody doing a mold test, right? So it seems like it's kind of unfair, but and sometimes you have weird sellers, right? Not sometimes, a lot. Like I'm gonna do this thing, I sent the selling disclosure statement to this guy. And he sent it back and said it had a 28-year-old roof. I said, whoa, there's a little problem here. So I called him, I said, how could you possibly have a 28? He says it's in perfect condition. I'm an engineer, I know about these things. That's not so good. So anyway, as it turned out. So anyway, so we are in a viral web state, you know that, so, but he does have to disclose major problems, major defects. So the other thing is, let's say it's a stigmatized property. Now, sometimes you might have one, I had one, and I was quite as a man. You don't have to disclose unless somebody asks you for that. So I had this couple, they lived in Duluth, only said we want to sell. So I list the house. And I sold them another house, they bought a house, Peachtree Station. Well, they told me why they were selling it. That was because their son had committed suicide. So I'm like, oh my, this is so sad. But then I realized I don't have to disclose that to the buyer. So the buyers came, they didn't have an agent. So they bought the house. And after they moved in, they said, Ruth, we knew about her. And we sold the floor. And that's the saddest thing, but you don't have to disclose it, we weren't in trouble. And they still live in their life. So there are things that can happen that we have no control. If they ask you. So did that happen?
They ask you to disclose.
Yeah, and you just think the funny thing about people that die in a bedroom, you don't have to tell people. So I had a house that I sold like that, and I knew about the history of the house. So nobody ever asked me, and after the people moved in, I think they did have an agent, but nobody asked a question like that. So anyway, later on, the lady told me, she said, I don't know what it is, but every time I go in this bedroom, I get a very sad thing. But anyway, just be careful about what you say, don't divulge things you don't have.
I think you need to, if you do me a favor though, I'd like to see the email go out on the bullet points you said today. You said them like everybody would know, and I don't know if everybody does know, should know. I'd love to, would email work if y'all just have these bullet points and you have it within you, kind of know what to say, what not to say? Because the truth is, everybody's gonna die. Now, how, I don't know how that's gonna happen. Everybody in this room is gonna unfortunately tell about it, that's just what's gonna happen, right? And so whether in your house, hospital, whatever that may be. So you're gonna see probably more and more and more and more, right? As baby boomer generation, all the generations. And so it just happens.
Firsthand knowledge, it can't be like somebody else told you that something, like it has to be direct knowledge if someone died in a house. Or no? Well, no, not if a neighbor after, you know, like if you lived in a house and somebody was like, oh, yeah, 15 years ago, someone died in that house.
But yes, after, keep it about Charlie. That was fun, right? Yeah. Morning, everyone. You guys wait. I got it, bro. I have to go around and just get some energy. I gotta let them rock down. Well, I'm glad to be back. Thanks for everyone that went to family reunion with us. For you guys that didn't go, please make the time next year to go. It's a live Vegas baby experience. Okay, I'm sorry, Vegas baby. Let's do it. For going back to Vegas, you know, take a little bit out of closing of each year closing. I will tell you, it will spark your business like never before. It's worth investing in yourself. That's right. Okay. We went to probably plus minus 10 different, very specific strategic sessions, if you would. And one of the interesting things is I felt, and the people that were with us felt that one session was worth the price of admission just by itself. And there were a plethora of sessions. So give us one. What's your biggest highlight? Well, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. Okay. Any hints? Any hints, right? Now, this is, mind you, this is a 2-hour presentation. So we're just going to get a little taste and a little snippet of what I think is the most important, at least on this first section. So why do we say charge storm? Why? Yeah, why do we bring that up? Because it's been a theme of Keller Williams for the past few years, right?
Yeah, because of the changes in the market and what we're seeing, and what do Buffalo do? They go right into it.
Right. So the market shift, the storm, if you would, it's gonna happen whether you do anything about it or you don't do anything about it. And it's about preparing for it, right? So how you react to it, how you plan for it, is what makes a difference. And that's the reason for the Buffalo. So let's take a quick look at it. These are the first 4 points of this presentation. And we're really just going to talk about mindset today, because I think it is probably the most important, okay? Not to diminish anything else, but own your mindset. Now, what does that mean? Next slide. The next one, if you don't mind. Be the buffalo, right? The buffalo is the only man known to man that actually sees a storm coming, and instead of hunkering down or running away from it or doing anything else, it actually runs towards it. Now, I don't know how smart they are, but this is the sooner I get through it, the quicker I'm gonna be on the other side of the street. Right? So that's an interesting way to look at it. Think a long game. Don't wish it away and do more. So we're gonna concentrate on those 4 bullet points. Next one, please. Be the buffalo, right? Buffalo head into the storm to come out of the other side sooner versus the bear. Bears hunker down and wait for it to be over. So guess what happens? If we hide in a hole and we say, no, this is gonna change. I'll just come back out when the rates get better. I'll come back out when it's a buyer's market. I'll come back out when it's a true seller's market, right? But guess what? We don't control that. The market is what the market is. Charge towards it, own it, okay? Number 2, play the long game. Listen to this. It says evergreen mindset versus situational mindset. What does the evergreen do as far as the seasons go? They don't care. They stay green, right? It is what it is. Now, I'd rather do that
then be a situational mindset. What is that? What does that mean? That my way of thinking changes every time something happens. So if I'm blown away this way, I go, okay, well, I gotta go this way. Or if I'm blown away the other way, then I'm heading that way without questioning, without doing anything, without purpose, right? Next slide. And every mindset knows that change is inevitable, and the economy has cycles. The mindset plays a long game. A situational mindset lives in the moment, and it is constantly thrown off by change. If the market is good, the business is good. If the market is bad, then business is bad. This mindset plays the short game. Bottom line, play the long game. Next one. Don't wish it away. Don't put the baby out with the bathwater, right? It is, and people do that. Oh my goodness, I wish this changes. The rates, when are the rates gonna change, Stanley?
I don't know.
Don't we wish them away?
I wish.
See outside of today's rates. Think about it. One quick thing. What's the one thing that got better?
Price it.
Price, you're not overpaying for it, right? The values are still there. You're not overpaying for property. And you're able to negotiate better. So yes, the rate's higher, but are you really paying more money on a monthly basis? Depending on how you look at it, you're probably not. She just announced that FHA has a way for you to pay less money, just based on the FHA guidelines, right? Next one. Do more. And this is where I'm gonna concentrate with not just the PC group, the PC agents, but I hope all of you concentrate on. Shifting to do more drive. A shift is an economy of less. There are less opportunities in the marketplace. When there is less, let's do more. What does that mean? Who does for sale by owners? Who calls for sale by owners out of the book? You do. Let me ask you, sale by owner calls, if you can share that with us, result into an agreement.
About 12.
Okay, so you make 12 for sale by owner calls, that's an appointment, and out of that appointment, how many times do you actually get the deal?
Right.
10, okay? Now, if somebody says, well, I do better than that, well, I'm glad that you do. If somebody says, oh my God, those are pretty good stats, right? Could you outdo Tyler? Maybe, maybe not, it takes skill, right? Would you agree? But can you work harder than Tyler? Can you call more people if your conversion ratio is not what it is? Yeah, you can definitely do that, and that's what do more means, okay? Next one. 6 steps to doing more, because we're gonna concentrate on that. Be positive and see the possibilities. Continually play offense. This is not a defense.
Sorry.
That's all right. Continually play offense. What does that really mean? Don't play defense, right? That's what it means. Listen more than ever. Take classes. Now, I'm not saying be in classes all day long and don't talk to leads, right? Don't generate leads. But listen more, learn the trade, right? Practice your skill. Live outside your comfort zone. This is the best time to be uncomfortable. It pays more to be uncomfortable.
See my shirt today? Yeah, we had this plan.
Right. We did, right? We talked last night and we said, you wear that, I wear that, right? So I said, let's go. But it's amazing because I always mention this. We're thinking very much alike.
Oh, yeah, but the question is, are you Jay or Gary? Which one am I? I don't know.
Sometimes Jay, sometimes Avery.
Okay.
I'll do it. Focus on what you can control. You can't control the market, but you can control your activity. Control what you do about it. Right? That's where your mindset should be. And live with certainty in uncertain times. Now, is the sky falling? No, it is not. Do I know what's going to happen in the next 6 months? We don't. But we know what is happening today. And in today's market, what you do matters. So I hope I did justice to a 2-hour presentation, but this is just a snippet of it. Now, if we want, we can actually do a class for the whole.
Oh, I think we do a class.
So we can break it out into two parts.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay?
I want to share something with all of y'all this morning. I tell all of you in your business and how you grow, is you need to find the who, not the what. Okay, so a lot of you might know, and if you don't know, I'm gonna share the awesome news today. We're gonna be the first in Georgia Legacy Group to open a business center inside of our territory. We're opening a bilingual center. Everybody say yes, you know that, right? Okay, well, some of you might know that I don't speak Spanish at all. And y'all know this was my idea. I have been working on this for years. I've got the approval. And so I've been doing this, and it's been a challenge to say the least in recruiting. So I said, So I brought Enrique in one of my meetings, and here they go. Talked about me, I guess. I don't know what they're talking. But I knew the behind what I was looking to do. I will say as of Friday, we have submitted all the documentation to KWI, and it has been done, and we are opening the bilingual center, and I want to say congratulations to this guy.
Better together, right? Yeah, we're split. We've said, oh, okay, you just handle this, right? And as much as I can do, and as much as I know the language and everything else, we need this guy's energy, right? And guess what? You realize that he also is better served when I'm with him in those presentations. So guess what we're doing from this time forward?
We'll do it together. So Angel, Miguel is all you get. So thank you, I'm proud of you, my man. And we did breakfast together every morning at 6:30. We'll tell y'all, I'll be in bed at 9. And we were having breakfast every morning.
We can't talk about the rest of the group.
That's cool. Okay, let's see. Thank you, Enrique. Proud of you, my friend. Lucy, what you got for us, my friend?
I have a cool update that I have to share my screen. So how many of you have been like somewhere and you meet someone and you're like, I'd love to share my business card, let me find it. And then that takes a little time. So we have a little update for that. If
Yes,
you
we
have-
do.
If you have your command app.
Everybody got your command app? I hope you do. Cause y'all know I'm probably the least tech savvy in the room, and I got mine. Cause I check profit share.
Okay, so I'm gonna open my. So here we go. At the very top, you'll see your name. So I want you to click on your name. And the second from the bottom up will say my business card. So go ahead and click that too.
You now have a digital card. In command. Why is?
Click on your name. And then the second up from the bottom is your business. If you want to go ahead and turn to a neighbor and share it.
Yeah, because I was gonna
We have them there. Yes.
does it automatically add the person to your command if they scanned it or? Okay.
You would have to do that.
They're in the process of making great changes.
So, that would be a good question. There, your app from here. I think you can still down. You can, if you put those, little lines up there at the bottom. You can also share your app from here. Now, when they join your app, then it does get added.
And this isn't the best way for you to share your app. A lot of us have the consumer app as well, because we want to see how they're doing things, right? And we tend to want to share that one. Don't do it. Use the command app to share your regular consumer app.
Sam also had a really cool idea that maybe you take a picture of this and save it as a screenshot. Did you feel
Yes, we do.
the background? And that way you kind of have it readily available, but it's not hard to open up the app here.
So use that as your lock screen on your phone. That way there, it's always ready on like your home screen so that you don't have to log into command every time.
That's it. I'm done.
That's a great tip. Finding it up, that's it. We're gonna kill two birds with one stone. I like that. All right, I got a little, so, everybody ready? Everybody still with me?
Yes.
Okay, but everybody sharing their app. All right, let me get everybody's attention real quick. All right, I want to share with y'all, what I would like to see a lot of you doing is, so who buys property in Florida? Okay, nobody, okay, back question, okay. Who likes to buy properties in North Georgia? Got a few of you. Who would like to own property in North Georgia? Ah.
That's the right question.
So, yeah, that's the right question, right? So I did, there we go, okay. Who's a licensed realtor in this room? In Georgia? Ah, that's the right question. Who's going to buy their own property in North Georgia? Interesting. Awesome. Well, what I did was, I brought the experts here, who I used to buy my property in North Georgia. Two reasons behind that. You're looking all around, aren't you? Yeah, they're here. Come on up. Mountain Life Group, come on up. Yeah, they're in the back there.
Hey.
Have a seat. Are you nervous or not?
I don't really get nervous, I don't get embarrassed. I make a fool of myself all the time.
And I'm Jim first.
Yeah, this is fine. This is pretty much me.
Yeah, so I brought them, I want you to ask them questions, but there's a reason why I brought them here. Because they want to get leads. They're here to ask you for the business. If you're moving up, if you're going up there, it's a 2-hour drive, you go up there yourself, I get it. But I made several offers up there and I lost every one of them. And actually, Noah was my realtor at the time, but I'm not an expert up there. And let me show you the experience of what I got my house for and why it matters. I know all of you can go up there if you want, get it. I'm gonna challenge you. So this agent and the property I ended up with did the same thing. Now I want to back up 3 offers I made, almost 100,000 over on every one of them, and I lost every one. I won one, but I didn't like the terms and we dropped out, right? 3, okay. On the 4th one, he calls me, he says, Mike, I think I found the right property. I'm gonna FaceTime you, and then I'll do a YouTube video so you can show the family. Beautiful. He goes, but you're not gonna believe this. An Atlanta agent has it listed. They're not on our MLS, so no one's seeing it. And I believe that you can get a discount on this house. Now, mind you, my house has been on HCTV, so it doesn't stink. Remember, that's my word for the day. And I got 10,000 off in the craziness. Because an Atlanta agent said I could do it better than the people that do the business out there. I'm not telling you you can't do it, just challenge you of what the professionals are doing, and what happened is she's not a member of it. They control the MLS, they're not a member, so it wasn't up there, so they weren't showing it. We got it, 10,000 off. So I told you other 3 out of the 100,000 over, and I got 10,000 off because of what the agent was doing. It was out here, and by the way, it was a KW agent. And I shared with her, she did a disservice to her clients by taking it, but she didn't know what she was doing. I didn't take advantage of it, anyway. Yeah. So I brought them in here, that I've known for a while now, and his wife, Noah, I've known him for a while. So just a little about you while you're here, and then we'll kick you off stage.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so like I said, my name is Noah. This is my 4th year in real estate. I actually started real estate from like 100% because of nepotism. My father-in-law owns the team we have, and I was gonna be a coach. Yeah, I was gonna be a coach, and then he's like, I think you should try real estate, and I did, and it's been pretty good for me so far, so I stuck with it. I do want to add something real quick though to what you said. Another point, similar point. I did help a client of mine. I was cold calling seller leads off some old solds on MLS that would work well for investment properties. And one guy I called, he had this really nice cabin with amazing views, and I called him. I said, hey man, I really think your property, after some other pleasantries, I said, I really think your property is worth at least $800,000 now. I'd love to come by, talk to you, give a look at the property, see what I think it's worth. We said, well, I actually have 2 properties. I'd love you to look at both of them. So I went to one, the one I said had the views. I told him it's probably worth about $850. He couldn't believe me. And I went to the other one. I told him it's worth about $730. And he had paid under $400,000 for both of these in 2018. So he told me there's no shot, there's no way. The other agent I had to help me buy it, who was from Atlanta, quoted both of them for me, and she was about 100,000 less on both properties. So within 3 weeks in the market, we had sold them the 850 one, we sold it for 850, the 735 one, we actually got an offer for 785. So he would have lost about $200,000 going with an agent out of the market. And not that it can't work, but this agent didn't put in the work like she should have. And thanks to that, he was able to pay off all the debt he had, and now he has a huge college fund for his kids.
Ooh, wow, good.
Yeah.
Doug Smith, been in the industry a whopping 2 years. Came out of the Chick-fil-A world, but absolutely love it. I've been in the area for 21 years. And that's the game changer, is having knowledge of the area and understanding the difference that market is compared to this market. We came from Newton 21 years ago. We are not a Newton. Believe me, we are not a Newton. I want to ask you a question, and it's going to sound like a random question, but we're going someplace with this. Do you know what max Q is? MAX-Q. If you were, I don't know, SpaceX, for instance, let's start small. Audience participation. If you were, say, them, and you were sending a rocket into space, you need to understand what max Q is. And I'm going to connect it back to us here in just a second. Max Q is the maximum dynamic pressure that the rocket can take while it's piercing through the atmosphere. So when it pushes through the atmosphere and the atmosphere is pushing in on the rocket, it's that maximum dynamic pressure to protect the people that are riding in it. Guess what? We're the rocket. Our clients are riding with us. There's this pressure that's coming in, and they're figuring out, oh my gosh, we're coming to closing, we've got inspection, and we're the rocket. And we're saying, got you. Let's go. I got you. Guys, I want to fly together with you. I want to be your expert up there that says, I know this market. I know these people. I know the inspectors. I know what's going on here. Things move slower in the mountains. But let me help you through the process. Let's fly together and let's get there. Because we can maximize max Q. You know what's on the other side of max Q? By the way, it happens about 1:30 into the flight. 1:30 into the flight, you hear the commander say, we're at max Q. Max Q lasts for about 20 seconds of that time. Right on the other side of max Q, you know what's there? Space. And let's do that together.
I need a rocket now.
I'm not
I'm gonna steal that from my RV department. I think you know that.
Yeah.
And you don't know this, but here, let me just give you an example of how crazy this world is. You don't know that my name sits on the moon, and all my family that's on Astor Road and all the Bramlets, it's all up there, and your mountains is on the moon.
Boom.
Yes,
There you go.
my great uncle worked at the Kennedy Space Center and worked up there.
Nice.
My mom's maiden name is on the.
Nice. By the way, I heard that. I was sitting at home on a Tuesday. That never happens. And I happened to be watching the launch of a SpaceX rocket. And I heard him say, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boom, 1:30 in, max Q. And I was like, the heck is max Q? I have no idea what that is. I spent hours after that understanding what max Q is, because it is so fascinating. And we have max Q moments all the time. And what a privilege it is to go, I got you. I got you. By the way, you have to have a skill set and you have to have structure to be able to support that weight pushing on you.
Absolutely. Did you ever business cards today?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so let everybody
I
see.
got command, so.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. I can come see the Mountain Life group. There are rock stars up there in the North Georgia mountains. Thank y'all for coming today.
I think the rocket started with that.
Well, if you're a family reunion and you'd like to come up and share an aha, I'd like you to come up here. Oh, okay. Come on up. I mean, I'm like, I guess. Anybody like, thank you, Sandy. I appreciate you coming up, share some ahas. Thank you for coming up, sharing that.
Wait, teacher, though.
Oh, yeah, there's not like your.
Okay, we're out of order. So we'll go back to the.
Wait, what, guys? I didn't see that, Sandy. I was trying to figure that out.
I know, it's like a weird, yeah. Where are you? The deformed head.
Took a picture with the buffalo. There was lots of opportunity, of different, streams or whatever you call them in the back part of the storm. We just really felt that was the one we need to be in front of. And, so give us some ahas from family reunion. Why go to Vegas next year to sign up? Why you feel that, every agent should be signed up to go? Well, maybe there's some ahas.
You're omitting the part that like you must spot off of people. Like,
Well, I think it's why my head's all messed up, because I think somebody got, like, got screened out there and.
we were charging the buffaloes.
We were.
My goodness, and I think we said it several times before, but like I could have went to day one of family reunion and left and still got the value out of it. The amount of speakers, if you ever get the opportunity to get everybody to the CEO summit, that's basically mini family reunion. Go to that, be done. But the amount of speakers that we had there that really focused on the whole person, which I think the theme of family reunion this year, I think Gary was trying to get us to understand that going into the shift that we needed to be a whole person. We need to focus on our mindset, and we really had to look internally, not so much on just the skill set that we need during that shift. Because if you're not right up here, you're not gonna be able to charge this one if you're not brave enough to do that. So they're just amazing speakers that focused on that. We had Ryan Holiday, who spoke about stoicism, controlling your emotions. We had Ed Milet, which he dropped so many bombs, so great quotes. One of them about being like a neglectful parent is that who isn't chasing their dreams. That one really hit on me, but it is worth the investment. It is worth your time to just step away from your business because it's going to be able to get you a seat on our walk.
Yeah. Hey, no, if you'll come back down, please.
Oh, yeah. I can go on for days. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you really could, like, the first day, like with wealth building with, Brett Tanner, right?
Well,
Yeah.
There were 182 different breakouts. So if you couldn't find something there that's for you, unique for your business, then you're not learning based.
And you had to be very selective, because like every time slot, there were like 6 different things.
Right, yeah, which one you want to go to, right?
Yeah, and I'm like, it's like so good choice, right, of which thing to go to.
So Cindy, how long have you been in the business?
Almost a year.
Why'd you go to family reunion then?
Because I actually went last year when I was still taking my real estate classes. Yeah, I actually did it last year, and I realized that the connections that you make there, the relationships of meeting people from all over the world, not just the country, but all over the world, that is the price of admission right there. You get one referral from somebody from family reunion, that's pay for it.
Yeah. So y'all know the business we're in, right? We're in real estate, right? And it takes a buyer and a seller, right? So how many classes can you go to about buyers and sellers? That was my 19th family reunion. It was my favorite.
Molly Fletcher was amazing.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah. She was amazing.
If you haven't looked her up, look up, she's got TED Talks, she's got a book out, she's a sports agent. That's what,
Yeah, she's old school, like Doc Rivers. Some of you guys weren't born yet, but you know.
John Smoltz.
Yeah. Molly who?
Fletcher.
Molly Fletcher. So she spoke at GAR one year, so I've heard her before, and then had the opportunity again.
She also had 3 babies in a year. That alone, I was like.
No, that's not possible. She did. She had twins. She had a baby and then twins. You are
She had
correct.
3 babies under a year old. I had 3 under 4, and I thought I was gonna lose my mind.
So did she.
And she's a high powered, I mean, if she can do it,
That's right.
Right.
I know, is this your first family reunion?
This is my second.
Second? Give me an aha from family reunion.
Something that I really like, and it was kind of a theme you saw in a lot of different classes you would go to, is just getting back to simplicity and focusing on what matters most. Generating leads and actually following up with your clients being such a huge part of the business. It reminds me, one of my favorite mold laws is don't mistake movement for achievement. And so that's something I've always struggled with. I've always been like, oh, I made a ton of calls today, but they were kind of crap, like, like, hey, need help, blah, blah. And I just kind of ran through it because that's what I was supposed to be doing. And getting back to being more purposeful. But speaking of Ed Milet, one thing he said that I really liked was you don't get your goals, you get your standards. And so just because you're saying like, oh, I got this goal over here, if you're not actually striving to do the goal and you're not doing the work to get there, it's just something you roll on a piece of paper.
Right, what's the name of this book?
The power of one more.
Power of one more hour, one more call,
One more day.
one more day, right? Power of one more
You
day.
never know if you have one more day.
That's right, that's right. Enrique,
I got 4 things to say. So number one is, every time I've gone to family reunion, I go, this is the best one yet. Guess what? This one was the best one. Okay, it always gets better. It doesn't change. I'm gonna do a little bit of a Vince Lombardi, so bear with me with the visual here. Vince Lombardi coming to the football team and goes, this is a football, right? The basics of real estate, and that was the other half that I got, have not changed. We're still doing the same thing, right? So the basics aren't the same. Everything else has changed, okay? So get with it. We're doing technology, the way we approach things, the way we look at numbers, how we react to the market, charge the storms, all of those concepts are definitely improving what you do, okay? But it was interesting. One of the things that I did in family reunion was chaperoning one of our new agents, right? And she was excited. So her comment, by the way, was, "Where's everybody else?" Just so you know,
Yeah.
that was her comment. Where's everybody else? Why are they not
did they pay for her to go?
Huh?
Did they pay?
Oh, no. She paid her own way for her whole thing.
Yeah.
No. So, but one of the classes that we took 2 luxury classes that she wanted to take, amazing classes. The second one was the interesting one to me, okay? Because if you listen to the panel, you go, wait a second, I don't have that, right? Because again, the basics are the same, right? But what changed was that instead of garages, and this is the name of the class was Servicing the Ultra Elite. That starts at $10 million, right? And instead of talking about garages, they were talking about helipads. And instead of talking about curb appeal, they were talking about the right approach for the helicopter. But everything else was the same, so that was just another big.
I love it. That's all I got, anything else, anybody have a problem? It's not the Sharon and, count everybody else. Make the investment, it's not expensive, it's an investment.
And they do specials throughout the year, like maybe like whatever it is, $1,300, but then they'll have different Black Friday specials or specials.
Yes, sir.
One thing I did learn, so you can actually buy a day pass because I missed my Friday flight. They canceled it. So I ended up doing like 2 day passes. They were like $400 a piece. So like he was saying, Sam, if you miss a day, or if you just can't do all 3 days, I think for me, even what I got was so much information, like the playbooks and I got 3 referrals from just going to family reunion last year. So my biggest thing when I get there, it's just like, hey, I'm your Atlanta guy. Like, that's the biggest thing. I'm just trying to track down as many people and get in front of as many people as possible. That way, when I get home, I can put them all into my database. And Command actually has a smart plan for referral agents. So if you add everybody to your database, I tag them, I say, family reunion, and then I put them all on the smart plan, and I'll ask them for referrals periodically. So.
Yeah, he was there. He goes to all the family reunions and I don't see him because he's out and about. He just sent me pictures where he's at.
Mike, can I say something? Okay, so for those who, one thing I've learned, this is probably my second, here, I'll put this on because I look rough, but this is probably my second family reunion and fourth convention I've been to. And to touch on like agent referrals and going and learning with these masterminds and breakouts, I think the one thing that people never talk about, which I personally love, is that when you go to these conventions, you do have the breakouts and you do have the agent referrals, but you get to learn about people's businesses and the niches and the things that they specialize that they're not willing to tell their market because that's where they compete. But they're willing to tell you because they want to build that relationship. And there are so many takeaways from just getting one-on-one talks or even small like breakfasts and lunch and dinners that you literally walk away with so much amazing information, probably more than you would get in breakouts and masterminds, because they don't want to risk necessarily telling their gold secret because they don't know who in their market is listening. But when they know that you're not in their market, they're more than happy to share and brag about everything that they've been successful with.
So Dallas, are you going next year?
Yes, sir. I'm going to be bunking with you, remember? Sorry, the sound's cutting out. So if you've said anything to me, I apologize.
Thank you all so much. Thanks for sharing. I appreciate that. Jack, yes.
Do we have slides yet? Have they released the slides?
We're sure, yes. Yeah, so Enrique and Mickey will have all the slides for the different days in the leadership. They were fantastic, by the way. Fantastic. Good.
Don't forget about art.
Done.
One part, I can do all of it. So I'll want to come back real quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't leave just yet. I told y'all know we're like 10 over, just hang tight. Y'all know to set your stuff up. We have our YouTube channel, classes this week.
Okay, so classes, tomorrow there's a bilingual section for those Spanish speakers. Enrique's got information on that, if you need information for it. Thursday, fall appointments with Tyler for tech. Ashley is doing a special tips, do's and don'ts. Special tips are so important, you guys, to make sure you're protecting your clients. Come to this class and learn how to write the perfect special script that covers everything. And then Shelter is doing their underwriting class. Andy is doing an MREA roundtable. That's on Thursday at 1 o'clock. It'll also be on Facebook Live. On Friday, virtual tech appointments. And on Saturday, we had such a great turnout, and people did say that they would show up again on Saturday. So it is yet another opportunity. I will be here to help you. It was truly a workshop. People were sitting in here working on their databases, putting people in, getting full contacts. We had a script for a birthday script going on. That's what we were working on, and we were kind of talking, but it was that focused time to actually do what you always say to yourself, I need to work on my database. I need to work on my database. Set that time aside and come on in on Saturday. If you're good with your database, we'll also get you hooked up with the 36 touch plan and get your people going when they're ready. So that is on Saturday from 10 to 12. I will be here. We're not gonna have prizes and food and stuff like last time, but it'll still be fun. And this is what that's talking about too, the 201 Club. Once you have 201 full contacts in your database, you're able to sign our sheet, and I meant to bring them in, or our poster. I just don't have them in here right now. And I've been talking about this for a long time. Our YouTube channel is up and it has a good chunk of videos in it. So go to YouTube and look for Keller Williams Realty Chattahoochee North at KW Chattahoochee North. We've got recent classes in there, trainings. I'll be adding team meetings as we go. So go and subscribe now, and I will show you what it looks like just real quick. I know we're really short on time. This is what it looks like. Here's the home. When you go to videos, you can see all the videos that are in there. If you click over to playlists, you'll see, oh, here's special trainings with guest offenders. Here's alliance partners, Spanish, a little bit of everything. When you click on that view the full playlist, there's all the videos for that. So you can go back and look. Not every single video that we've had since COVID is in here, as you can tell, but we're building it up from now and we're getting them in there. So go and subscribe to that YouTube channel and you'll have your videos. And that's all I've got.
You know, I'm canceling my cable because of YouTube.
Nice.
I'm not kidding. It's done. All right, take it away. Sorry, man. Thanks for always staying and playing. and, delivering for us.
Thank you so much. Happy Gratitude Tuesday, Chad North. It's another great day to be alive, isn't it? Hey, guess what? I figured out the secret of the buffalo. And the secret of the buffalo is that they figured out what max Q is. They figured out that there's a certain amount of pressure, right, that they have to go through in order to get to the other side. Wow, just take a look at that. So the symbolism of the majestic bison is heading directly into the storm is an instant reminder of how we confront life's obstacles. Don't run, don't avoid it, don't hope it goes away. Take it head on. Also, like the mighty buffalo, who was rarely seen alone, we function better with a herd of support around us. Whatever storm you are facing, whatever you find yourself in life, we are in this together. Let's continue to think big, aim high, act bold. Peace and love. Chat North.
Thank you for being here. God bless. Have a great day.